Off lecture. Learn beyond class.
Hello students, welcome to OffLecture. I am your teacher Miss Mansi and today we will be reading our English book Poorvi, which is a collection of stories, poems and words that become a part of you. But before we start any of the chapters from your book, we will like to have an introduction. So how we will be proceeding with our English lectures on this channel? What are the questions that you will be having? What can you expect from the video? And so on and so forth. So let's just dive into it. So as you already know, words can do magic. A single sentence can make have a variety of emotions that is attached to it. It can make you laugh, cry, and see a whole new word with a new vision, new perspective. A good story can carry you to the forest, a battlefield, and another person's heart. This is the power of language, and this year it becomes a story, a poem, and words. A story which can take you to another land. Can it be fiction, non-fiction, and a collection of all the stories? Poem, it can say 10 words what a page cannot. So you will be reading the poems that will be having more than 2 stanzas, 4 stanzas altogether and rhyming, and you will be learning how to say your feelings in a poetic or a musical manner, and all the words that have been coming into your story or the poem. So we will reflect on those words and will give you an idea where you can use those words in your daily life, in your English conversation with your friends, family, and teachers. So the idea here is, students, we don't have to be fearful of the English language because of the 100 type of rules that we have, the grammar rules, the punctuation rules, the parts of speech, the figures of speech, and so on. It's not that idea that we'll be covering in this lecture. The idea is to make you familiarize with different concepts, with the different stories, the poems, the words, and it to make you help you understand it in a very simple manner. So what we'll be learning in over here? First, we will be learning on the reading. So how to read a story or a poem, what is your level of understanding, how to increase that understanding and enjoy the text that is in front of us. Then we will be focusing on writing. So whatever we have read, whether we have read on the stories or the poem, we will and in the end we will be writing that in our own words, so that will help you frame the sentences and increase your vocabulary at the same time. Then the speaking part. So whatever you have written, just memorize that, or there is no need to memorize because you have already written that in your own words. Just try to speak it fluently, and that will increase your confidence over and over in some days or maybe some months. That is, there is no time foundation in over here. So what you will do is, I will ask you to read at least 2 pages every day of different books or different novels that you have. Then write down your thoughts for whatever you have read, and then on the speaking part, just have a practice with your friends or family members so that it can increase your confidence and it will help you to get fluent in the language. The fourth and most important part over here is listening. So whatever you are listening, try to grasp as much as possible. So over here, I'm your subject teacher. So I am giving you some of the notes, some anecdotes example, some of the sentences and new words here and there. Just try to listen that with 100% focus. Then only you will be able to grasp more and more words, and you will be realizing that in no time that your vocabulary has increased from 100 words to 500 words to 1000 words. So the main activity over here is listening. Listen to everyone. Whoever, like for an example, if you are very interested in sports, try to listen the sports commentary for any sport that you like, or try to watch any of the documentary that are related to your age, and try to listen what the people are saying in over there, right? Yeah. So we are promising, what we are promising in over here, we are not just focusing on your marks over here. We are promising your overall development over here. Not just grammar, not just bars, but trying to increase the inquisitive knowledge for every student. Why this is happening? You should be questioning why this is not happening. What is this? How is this done? So try to question your teachers, your friends, your family members, your parents, and try to learn as much as possible from them, because you know intellectual and intelligence has no boundaries, the knowledge has no boundaries. We should be focusing on listening and try to question that just in a logical manner. If this is happening, if nature is giving us something, try to question your peers or maybe your teachers that why this is happening. So we will be covering in this slide like what are the 5 units of Poorvi. As you all know, Poorvi is named after a Hindi rag that brings calm and joy. So same things that we expect from our students as well. After reading all those stories and poems that are collected in over here, we should be having some sense of calm and joy. So the 5 units that are comprising in Purvi are fables and folk tales. So, A Bottle of Dew by Mrs. Sudha Murthy is one such examples of fables. And then we have The Raven and the Fox, which is also another example of the folk tales. Then we will be diving into the concept of friendship. As you all know, we already have so many friends. Some are best friends, some are good friends. So we'll be taking a look at that. The unlikely best friends and the chair. Then we will be talking about some of the stories that are related to our nurturing nature. So we will be taking a look at the Neem Baba, the spices that heals us. These are the first 3 units of Purvi. All right. Sounds interesting? Yes, absolutely. Then we will be having unit 4 and 5, which will be on the sports, like the change of heart, the winner, yoga, a way of life. Then we have for culture and tradition, like we will get to know our India in Hamara Bharat, the kites, and Ila Sachani is one such great example of the real life heroes who does an embroidery with her feet. Then we have a collection of poems as well. So these are the poems that we will be reading together. A Friend's Prayer, What a Bird Thought, National War Memorial. Yeah, pretty much excited? Yes, I am pretty much excited. And you should also be pretty much excited to learn all these new fables, stories, and poems. So how we will be working on this? So first, we will be reading the complete story to or poem together. Then we will have some sort of discussion like what this means actually. What is the author trying to tell us? What is the poet trying to tell us? What is the hidden meaning on this? So I will ask you to ponder on the story and then check with your friends, discuss it with your peers, like what is their understanding and what is your understanding. So let's suppose we had an understanding of what is what. Then we will think and reflect. We will be asking the why behind it. Let's suppose we are having such a theme in over here and we will be asking our teacher, why has this happened? Why is the author is saying that? What is meant when the author is saying this? So this will enable us to get the understanding behind the characters that are involved in the story. Okay, then let us speak, learn and write. So whatever I had told you earlier, we will be listening, then we will be learning, then we will be writing, and then we will be speaking, right? Yes. So we will not just answer your questions, we will be handling this Poorvi book at a 360-degree. We will cover every aspect of this. Okay. So how this reading, writing, speaking and listening will help you out. So English is a life skill, not just a subject, right? So every day we will be taking care, we will be reading newspapers, we will be reading text, we will be reading your books, or we will be reading your novels, whatever you are interested, that is coming under the everyday activity. Then as a next step, we will be instilling some confidence. So whenever you are discussing any of the subject or any of the story with your peers or friends, try to speak up clearly without fear and without any judgment. So that's a way that everyone will be growing up. Try to practice more and more again with your friends, with your family members, with your siblings, everyone. So just try to narrate any of the story to your siblings as well, to your parents or to your grandparents, anyone in your family. Then empathy. So story will help you understand how others feel, whether someone is feeling sad or happy or excited. There are n numbers of emotions that we are having. And ultimately it will be giving you your voice. So whatever you are feeling on the inside, you will be able to explain them using clear words. Shows up in your life and you will be ready for the future. So before we start reading all the chapters in your book, let's have a activity. So this will help you warm up for the lessons that are coming in the next lectures or videos. So let's suppose we are talking about a sentence. A dog sat by the gate. Now you just need to add one word in it to make it exciting, sad or funny. So just think about it. Then we will discuss. Think for 1 minute. Okay, so what did you change? So we will start with the original sentence. The dog sat by the gate. So we'll just add one word in over here to make it sad. The lonely dog sat by the gate. So the word lonely depicts the emotion sadness. The dog might be alone. That's why he is lonely. Or we can make it the word, we can make the word excited. Then add a word giant. The giant dog sat by the gate. So this increases the curiosity. Like the giant dog is sitting by the gate. So this makes the sentence overall exciting. It changes the tone of the sentence. Realize that just one word will change the complete meaning of the sentence. Then let's move on to the second activity where you have a reading wish. So there might be one story or book or the novel that you love to read. It can be related to adventure, it can be funny, related to animals or a mystery. But you find it a bit hard to understand what exactly is the story. So we will work on this both this year, like reading the entire book and understanding what the author is trying to convey. So just think about and reflect what stories makes you happy. Is it adventurous stories or is it a mystery story? Just think about it. And then what part of the English feels tricky? Is it like you already know that vocabulary would be increased if you are reading everything daily. And just try to search the meaning of the words either by the online dictionary that you have, or try to ask your seniors or your parents like what exactly this word mean and how we can use in our daily conversation. Then just make a small notes in your notebook or a journal that you keep. So based on this journal that you will reflect at maybe after a week, that you will get to know that these are the collection of words that I have learned new, I have noted down, and try to use them every day. And believe me that is slowly and gradually you will develop the love for reading, and then you will cherish the power of this language, because there is a lot and lot of literature that is available in English. So you start reading any of your favorite stories and come up with the ideas, different ideas or questions or different type of books by the same author, and that will really help you in developing and understanding of this language. So just a small recap now. So we already think about like what's have power. So language can move, teach, or connect with different people. Then we will be focusing on the four skills, that is reading, writing, speaking, and listening. These are the four essential tools for life that will help you come out a long way. Then learn by using. Not just cram everything that is being taught. Just try to understand that, discuss it, and create something like write 10 lines about the same story in your own words. Then always be inquisitive. That means always try to ask questions like why the character is showing this kind of emotion, why the author has introduced this kind of a character in the story, what is the importance of this line in the story. So that will help you create your imagination. And finally, for life and heart. So as and when you will start reading the novels, stories, or different kind of all kind of stories that you will read, it English will grow your voice and make you kinder. So in the upcoming video, we will be talking about the fable and folktales, A Bottle of Dew, which shows how an hard-working man and dew will be cherished after the results of all those years of hard work, and the dewdrop awaits. So see you there.